So, you've left it a little bit late to get shredded for summer, or you just want to get in good shape for your new year, maybe your first year at university or college for my Americans, or you just want to look good for an upcoming event. Well, lucky for you, I'm going to show you how to get shredded in a scientific based manner or way, and you're not even going to lose strength, and you might even end up stronger than you were when you first started. Cue the intro.
I believe the truth can be reality. Will you roll with that? 'Cause I want you to. I'm stuck in trying to find a way.
So, the first thing we're going to talk about is if it fits your macros, or IIFYM, which is a dieting strategy that says you can eat whatever you want as long as you stay within and reach your macronutrient needs for the day. So macronutrients will be your protein intake, your carbohydrate intake, and your fats intake. The benefit to this is that you can still go out and be sociable, not have to worry as much, as long as you've planned most of your day and left yourself a little bit for if you know you're going out, you can still have something to eat. It also eliminates the feeling of guilt, because if you're not 100% on, it's still, you won't feel as guilty as say if you have to say, oh, I'm going to eat perfectly clean, no matter what, no meal's going to be bad, and then you fail at one and you just give up on the whole strategy. So it eliminates this because it says you can still have a little bit of bad food, but you can still lose weight, get ripped, so you can still make the gains or achieve the physique you want. And the last benefit of it is it's more adherable, so you're going to stick with it more, which means you're more likely to continue to make and see progress because you're going to stick to something you chose to. And then this means you don't get stuck having to eat bro food or clean food constantly, which you don't enjoy, which makes it hard for you to want to continue, so you just quit on your diet or your shredding. Instead, you just eat what you like within reason, and you can keep seeing progress as long as you make the necessary changes to your macronutrient ratios and amounts as you start to go into a deficit to strip off some of the fat. Okay guys, so the next strategy I'm going to talk to you about is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is simply going without food for an extended period of time, so you'd be skipping breakfast and pushing your first meal back further in the day. So this could mean you can fast from say 8 o'clock at night till 9 a.m. in the next morning, which would be a 13-hour fast. The fasts generally tend to be from 13 to 24 hours from the last meal. A benefit of this is it helps decrease blood insulin levels, which means greater fat burning. It increases blood growth hormone levels, which means higher, it increases it by up to 5 times the normal amount, so it means greater muscle mass and fat burning, as has been seen in studies. I'll link the studies down below for all the evidence. It's also linked with better cellular repair, so it means your body will get more efficient at removing waste products from the cells. It's also linked to with beneficial changes in genes and molecules linked with longevity and protection against disease. It also can cause up to 3 to 8% of weight loss, of body weight loss over 3 to 24 weeks, and with a 4 to 7% reduction in waist circumference. It results in less muscle mass loss than standard restrictive or calorie deficit dieting. It also reduces the insulin resistance and lowers type 2 diabetes risks, which means your response to insulin will be better. So guys, I'm back. My camera died whilst I was talking through that. I was on the point of insulin resistance and how intermittent fasting decreases that. So basically, because you're more sensitive to insulin, the amount of insulin needed to help you feel satiated or to move things around within your body will be less, which means you won't have as high blood insulin levels, and when you eat carbs your body will be better able to deal with that. It also supports the growth of nerve cells, and it increases greater levels of BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which can help with depression, as it's been, low BDNF levels have been linked with depression. It can also help protect against Alzheimer's and neurodegenerative diseases, so brain deterioration diseases. It can help reduce your hunger, as the longer you fast, your body will only start to peak in terms of hunger at the times you'd usually eat. So the more you do it and get used to when you actually feel hungry and when you're not, which brings me on to my last benefit, which is that it teaches you when you're actually hungry and when you're just thirsty, as your body can get those signals confused, or you're just eating to be sociable, or you're just eating because you're bored. So intermittent fasting will teach you when you actually are hungry, and so it makes dieting a little bit easier. So guys, now I'm going to take you through how I personally set up my own meal cut. So the first thing I employ or use is a higher fat, lower carb strategy. This personally for me, it just makes me feel better. I usually function better on a higher fat diet than if I was on a lower carb. My body's not the greatest at processing carbs the way it needs to, and also I just feel more on point, more zeroed in and more focused if I take more of a ketogenic or modified ketogenic approach to my nutrition in terms of fat and carbs. This also is just because it makes me feel like, because my body's now using fat for energy as opposed to glucose, it will start to be able to burn body fat more easily than if I was eating carbs. Carbs are more of the source the body goes to first for energy as opposed to fats. I also use an increased protein intake because increased protein intake during a cut as opposed to on a bulk. This is because increased protein during a cut has been seen to help retain muscle mass whilst in calorie deficit, and also it's more satiating, so it means I'll be more full whilst eating these than say if I was eating a whole bunch of carbs or sugars or that crap.
Like I was saying, I usually use a somewhat ketogenic type of macronutrient ratio. I usually then, with my intermittent fasting, it's usually between 14 to 16 hours of fasting and then 8 to 10 hours of feeding, and then repeating that. And then obviously I employ, if it fits your macro, so I've already would have planned the next days, pretty much all the food I'm eating the next day, the day before, and then making sure it stays inside the ratios. And the macronutrient ratio I've set, which would be around 65% fat, 15 to 20% protein, and 15 to 20% carbs, depending on how I'm manipulating it. And obviously staying in the calorie requirements to continue my deficit to then shred up. Okay guys, so I hope that helped. If it did, leave a like, leave a subscribe, share it with your friends, support the channel, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have, hit the bell, and we'll see you in the next one.
I believe the truth can be reality.